now it's time to get into Mr. Falcon Punch himself. I mean, we're getting into Offset. That's what it is. Offset. My fault. But you know, when it comes to Offset and his success, safe to say that him standing alongside Gunna is something that a lot of artists in the hip hop game would not do. But of course, for Offset, it played out in his favor, as the track At My Purest by Gunna featuring Offset is currently the 72nd most played track in the world. Now, when it comes to that, I will say I'm very surprised to see that the track Bodies did not have some staying power on the Hot 100. Now, I'm not saying that Bodies should have been a top 10 hit. I'm just surprised to not see it at all in the top 100. And saying that is because I cover the entire music industry. Covering analytics, I have to reiterate that just because something does not sell a lot does not mean that is absolute garbage. And just because some sells more than everything else does not mean it's the best thing since sliced bread, right? The two do not correlate. Sales, quality does not correlate. The reason why I say that is because we're about to get into a particular track that I think has the most staying power as far as on the charts if he does it and executes it right. There's a specific track off of this upcoming album, Kiari. Is that how you say it? Kiari? That's Offset's real name. Ain't no way that's how you actually pronounce that. His real name's Kiari? Man, Offset better be glad he never got into a real rap battle. That's crazy. Let me see. Kiari. Well, I guess he be falcon punching people, so it really don't even matter if they call him that. Huh, it really is Kiari. You learn something every day. I be calling rappers by their real government name too. That's wild. Anyways, so Kiari, no, I'm just playing. Offset is releasing his album Kiari after his real name, set to come out August 22nd. So we are right there as far as it coming out soon. Ultimately, the main thing I wanted to talk about before the album is this track Move On. It's because he came out and literally revealed that this is talking about his split with Cardi B, which is something that Joe Budden off of the Joe Budden podcast asked him specifically. And I don't think Offset answered it. So, and good for, you know, that podcast, because ultimately when it comes to the questions, you know, he asked, what track can we get the T on? He wasn't specific. I don't know if Cardi's name was mentioned once during that Offset interview, which of course at the end of the day, the way that he was talking, I don't think he would have been mad if they name dropped her and said, is there a track specifically about Cardi, right? They kept trying to beat around the bush. Oh, what track's the T on? So Offset played stupid too. He was like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I like T. Oh, is it hot or cold? Like, what's your favorite type of tea? So, you know, Offset was just playing around with them. But he came out, I don't know what it was on. I don't know if it was a social media post or what. But he came out and confirmed that the track Move On off of the album Kiari will be about his split with Cardi B. So ultimately, he's letting you know that with this album, it's more about peace and love, peace, and moving on peacefully. That's the theme of this album, I believe. And there's a quote from Offset saying, it was great while it lasted, period. That shouldn't be the topic for either one of us no more. It's a book that's closed.
Damn, look at the state of hip-hop. Like, what's going on?
Pour one out for one of the most dynamic hip-hop duos we've ever seen, because I really start to like go throughout my mental Rolodex of the most popular hip-hop couples we've seen in the past 5 to 10 years. And, you know, besides Jay-Z and Beyonce, which, you know, Beyonce technically doesn't rap, but, you know, she's an artist, right? Besides Jay-Z and Beyonce, I guess some could say Nicki and Meek, but Offset and Cardi really is one of the most powerful couples we've seen in hip-hop in quite some time. So when I really start to look at it like that and them splitting up, it kind of makes sense how everybody will be clamoring for what track they're specifically talking about each other on the respective albums. Because don't get it twisted, Cardi B is also coming out with her album, and with that album I've already covered it, but she's coming out with Am I the Drama September 19th of this year. Offset's coming out with an album Kiari this weekend. Safe to say, I think we're going to get some interesting information as far as each one of those individuals throughout their career. I mean, throughout the relationship, because I do believe that this whole couple ideology from the hip hop standpoint is, I'm not going to say it's frowned upon, but I heard Jermaine Dupri talking about how, oh, if you want to be successful, you can't be too tied down or whatever. You got to give your all into like the music or whatever, which, you know, that's definitely a very interesting take. I would say a more red pillish take, pause. But ultimately, when it comes to Cardi B and Offset, we all thought it was going to work out. Like, We all know what Offset allegedly was doing, was not doing. But at the end of the day, Cardi was holding them down. And to see them ultimately split up, sad day in history.
I was like, damn, look at the state of hip hop. Like, what's going on?
So there's really not too much I can get into besides Offset talking about how the track Move On will be about his split from Cardi B. There's some other things as far as him having a track with YoungBoy. So with that particular track, let's get into that right now. Now, if you would have been thinking to yourself, I wonder what a track title would be if you had the artist Offset and NBA YoungBoy on it.
The state of hip hop.
I'm not gonna lie to you, as a huge Juice WRLD fan, it doesn't sit right with me. But of course, this is hip hop, so who cares about morals, right? Who cares about having a moral high ground and things of that nature that could save a human's life, right? Because interestingly, NBA YoungBoy and Juice WRLD had a specific track together, right? And let's just say, let's see what that track was called. Was it Bandit? Yeah, it was Bandit. That track title was pretty solid until you realize, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot even bring this on the screen because of what Juice WRLD said on that track. For Juice WRLD fans, you already know what I'm about to say. As a real Juice WRLD fan, I really have to bring this up because I'm letting y'all know. When it comes to NBA YoungBoy, he brings the most ignorant side out of whatever artist he's collabing with. It's like NBA YoungBoy walks into the studio and the other artist who's on the track with him loses all the brain cells. I'm not kidding you one bit. So when it comes to this specific track, Bandit, once it pulls up. Oh yeah, here we go. So there's a specific track, and y'all already know what I'm going to. It was on B. Lou and Zia's. They laughed it off. Well, no, I don't even think they laughed it off. Literally, they had nothing. They couldn't say about it. They couldn't even say anything about it because they were sitting right into right in front of the man's face, and he literally said, it rhymed with Hill Figure.
I was like, damn, look at the state of hip hop. Like, what's going on?
Excuse me? You wanna say, wait, hold up. Hold up. I know, hey, this live, my brother. People see this. You just gonna say you said that word because it rhymed with Hill Figure? Okay, all right. We just gonna continue this reaction. Like ultimately, Zias and B. Lou. What can people expect out of Zias and B. Lou when somebody sits there as a black man and says they use the hard R because it rhymed with Tommy Hilfiger?
The state of hip hop. Like, what's going on?
Anyways, with that out the way, the main reason why I say that is because, of course, NBA YoungBoy hops into the studio and the artist that he's rapping with just loses all the brain cells, and then ignorance is just times by 100, right? So now we're Offset and NBA YoungBoy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the track is titled Pills. So we already know what's going to happen on this track, what they're going to be talking about. I don't think there's going to be any thought-provoking Martin Luther King, Malcolm X type revelations in this track. It's probably going to be the opposite. So that being said, this track Pills is off of his album Kiari, which if you didn't know, is very surprising that that's his real name. I mean, imagine being a rapper and having the real name like Kiari. Like, you just know that you can never get in a rap battle unless you're Offset and you Falcon punch people for fun. So that's probably why nobody ever brought up his name like that. But anyways, the whole track list is out right now. The last track is Move On, which I just previously covered. The track with NBA YoungBoy is the second track. So safe to say, Offset is starting off with some very interesting type of energy, right? My favorite track off of the album, as far as the singles that's already out, I mean, it's not a lot to choose from, I don't think. Yeah, it's not a lot. I think it's just Bodies. Bodies, I think there's another track that he put out before this album. Anyways, Bodies is by far the best track I've heard from Offset. Maybe it may be his best single track, best single of all time, honestly. It reminds me of Bad and Bougie with Lil Uzi Vert. That was with Lil Uzi, right? Let me see. Bad and Bougie. When did that come out? Lil Uzi release. So that specific song came out October 28. Goodness. 2016, boy. I feel old. Oh no. 2016, that's crazy. Oh, so when it comes to that, yeah, Bad and Bougie was phenomenal. That's what this track Bodies reminds me of. Just the entire feel, the overall energy. The feature took that's what you want a feature to do. What JID did is what you want a feature to do, to add something new and uplift the track, not keep the same flow that you was doing, that you already laid down, not keep the same melody that you was using for the chorus. You want a feature to come in and add something completely new that elevates the track. So shout out to JID for being one of the best rappers alive currently. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand when it comes to the sales aspect, because Offset is a big dog in this game, and he's releasing this album under the big dog in the music industry, which is UMG Recording, which, if you don't know, they have 60%, oh my goodness, a whopping 60% of the entire music market share. So when it comes to UMG having 60% of the entire music market share, Sony has 20, Warner has 20, Sony has 19, and others, which is independents and smaller labels, they have 2%. So dropping this album under the big dog UMG, you would think they would push bodies a little bit more. I mean, obviously it's doing well analytically, but to not be in the top 100 with a big dog like Offset, we already know that Offset's not like the biggest by himself, pause. See, that's the problem. But we still understand that if you put out a phenomenal track like Bodies, you would think that the machine would get behind it, but I guess not. You know, hip-hop's been an interesting place throughout this whole year. I mean, even Tyler, the Creator, he had a phenomenal first week sale. As far as with his latest album, what was it? Don't Tap the Glass. And his most popular track off of his album is Sugar on My Tongue. And that's the 53rd most played track in the world. So obviously, you know, Tyler, the Creator is a big dog. So obviously he's going to be on the top 100. But if you look at Drake, if you look at Kendrick, the top performers in hip hop have all been struggling against other genres. Drake's most popular track, What Did I Miss, is the 43rd most played track in the world. And then Side 7, White Tank Top, Kendrick. His track, Luther, is the 19th most played track in the world, but that's with SZA. And guess what? 30 for 30 is the 37th most played track in the world, and guess who that's also with? It's with SZA. So he doesn't have any tracks in the top 100 by himself, literally. Luther, 30 for 30 is the only tracks on the charts. Some would say Kendrick has went into his sabbatical and he's never coming back out. And look what he just left behind. A bunch of rubble. Because now we got to pick up the pieces and figure out who's going to impact the masses from hip hop. So, yeah, with that being said, Offset's album, Kiari, is coming out soon. This weekend, actually, to be more specific, August 22nd, 2025. He has an entire track list out. I didn't even know this. So, Enemies, Pills, featuring NBA YoungBoy, Professional, Back in That Mode, featuring YFN Lucci, Different Species, featuring Gunna, Bodies, featuring JID, Love You Down, Run It Up, featuring Key Glock, Set It Off. I mean, that's, you know, pun intended, right? My fault. Fall Girls. What is that? See, that's how you know. That's probably some expensive fashion brand. That's how you know. I don't know nothing about that. Fall Girls. Is that coffee? Oh, that's coffee. Why does he have a track named after a coffee brand? I don't know, man. These hip hop artists don't be trying when it comes to track titles. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right, let's keep going. All of my HOES. Calories. Checkmate, in parentheses, smooth. Back ends for show. Proud of Myself, featuring Tizo Touchdown. Never Let Go, featuring John Legend. You just know that Offset going to be trying to tap into his Jay-Z bag on that track. Whenever you see featuring John Legend with a random trap artist, just know that's going to be the most brain cells they've ever used to put a verse together. Anyways, Favorite Girl, featuring Ty Dolla $ign, and Move On is the last track. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this album's going to be great. All jokes aside, I think it's going to be great. I can't wait for it. I'm definitely pressing play as soon as it comes out. Marketing rollout hasn't been anything short of spectacular. And ultimately, I think Offset is setting up to have one of the more dark horse albums, hip-hop albums of the year of 2025. So with that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Kiari coming out this weekend, more specifically August 22nd? And what specific track are you most looking forward to?